Hello everybody and welcome to the Design Your Legacy podcast. I'm Roseanna, I'm your host, and I really hope that with these podcasts in some way, shape or form, I can help inspire, encourage, guide you to living a life beyond your wildest dreams, living a life of true joy, bliss, love, all the good fuzzy feelings. Today I want to talk about freedom. And freedom is this elusive concept that we are all striving for, I believe, in my opinion. If you kind of look back at your goals, if you look back at why you're doing what you're doing, it all comes down to having some amount of freedom. The definition of the word freedom, if you look it up online, is to act, speak and think how one wants. Now I looked it up because I was interested, because I have a definition of freedom, but I wanted to know technically what the definition was, because freedom, I say it's elusive because it's this thing that we're all trying to get, but actually we find it really hard to attain when it's probably much more simple than we think. Now, my definition of freedom is the ability to be able to do what you want, however many times you want, whenever you want. And that is, wouldn't that be amazing? As well as not being controlled by fear. So when we think about the actual definition, to act, speak and think how one wants, all the time, everywhere, on social media, in adverts, in the newspaper, in magazines, by political parties, by family members, by friends, we are being given opinions and information. It's all contradictory, and I had a really good journaling session about this morning, about why it's so hard for us to make a fucking decision. Because we're overloaded with information, opinions that actually make it really difficult for us to have this freedom to act, speak, think how we want. Especially the thinking. I think the thinking is like the root of it, because if we can control to a certain extent our thinking, then the rest follows. The acting and the speaking follows. That don't think, if somebody doesn't think before they speak, they might offend somebody, which is ironic because I've had to re-record this just in case I offend anybody. But yes, so thinking, I think thinking is actually where our fears come from. So it's like this, this is why freedom is like so difficult, because we are all like to achieve and to attain, because we're all so afraid of what might happen, of what might happen if we had freedom. So I believe that if we can conquer our fears, or not conquer our fears, because fear will always be there. It's in us. It's in our system. We are built on the survival instinct. We're built on fight or flight and that programming. But when those instincts come up, it is possible to retrain your brain to kind of say, your body goes, oh fuck, something really bad's happened. What am I going to do? Blah, 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 panic mode. Do I fight or flight? Thank God we don't actually do those actions in real life. But when that feeling comes up in your body, that anxiety, the fear, and the stress comes up in your body, what we can do is there are things that we can do. We can breathe, we can speak kindly to our ego. It's our egoic mind that's helping us in the survival instinct. we can speak kindly, softly, give it compassion, love, us as the heart, as the higher awareness. We can just give our ego love and softness and help calm it down and bring it back to a place where suddenly we're now not in fight or flight. We can think more clearly, and we can act and speak from a place of where we actually want to. Now, how is this going to get us freedom? How is this the ability to do what you want as many times as you want, whenever you want? How? Well, it is, I believe that the freedom of not being controlled by your fears will help you do the things that help lead you towards freedom, to be able to do what you want, when you want, however many times as you want. It's funny because it sounds like a real luxury, that doesn't it? It sounds like real super luxury. It's like, I want to go out drinking champagne every single night. I know that that's actually not very good for me. So yes, I have the freedom to do that right now. I could go and drink champagne every night. With freedom also comes like a responsibility, and this is something I figured out at the beginning through some journaling this week, is that freedom, a lot of people don't choose freedom because it comes with so much responsibility. Like, you still have to care for yourself. Freedom is, it's like what I imagine when somebody wins the lottery, I kind of see it as then a kid being given £20 going into a sweet shop, or like £100 going into a sweet shop or a toy shop and buying absolutely everything they want to, going mad, going hyper, and then they crash. That's like the freedom that I think we're all trying to get, is that like infinite amount of whatever we want. Freedom's actually a lot more simple than that. Freedom doesn't have to be this huge thing that you cannot, that seems so unrealistic. Like, it's so unrealistic that we're going to win the lottery. It's so unrealistic that a kid's going to be given £100 to go and stuff its face on sweets. That would have been the dream as a child. And then been sick everywhere. But freedom is a lot more simple than that. Freedom doesn't have to be this huge thing that we are like afraid of. It doesn't have to be this thing that we will get when we retire. It doesn't have to be this thing that we will get when we win the lottery. Like, you know, I know when people think of retirement, they think they are then going to be free from the workplace, free from the responsibility of having to work, and they're going to go and travel and hop on go on a cruise for a year. Sounds absolutely wonderful, but you can choose freedom before that. Freedom is available to you right now. How do we attain freedom? You simply choose it. It sounds so ridiculous and ridiculously easy to just choose something. Like, you've chosen every single thing in your life. Like, you've chosen your job, you've chosen your partner, you've chosen your friends. No, you haven't chosen your family, but you've chosen to love them. And so you chose to go out last night, you chose to go to the gym this morning, you chose to go there on holiday. You actually have a lot of freedom available to you already. And what is available to you is the choice to make the decision that is for your highest self, or make the decision that is like fear-based. So the fear-based one's never going to take you towards freedom. The one that makes you excited and gives your heart like butterflies, or is it your tummy butterflies and your heart? Anyway, the one that makes you excited and makes you feel light and energetic, that's the one that's going to take you towards freedom. This is something I've been doing over the last few weeks, months, is trying to do the things, even just in the everyday. It's actually been a big part of my healing journey, is in the everyday, I just choose freedom a little bit. So yesterday I had a couple of spare hours in the morning and I thought, I'm going to go and do a yoga class. And it was 11 a.m. on a Thursday morning. I went and did yin yoga. I basically lay on the ground in meditation for an hour at 11 a.m. on a Thursday morning. But I have the freedom to be able to do that. And that is wonderful. This is something that actually, if I'd have written my vision 5 years ago of what I wanted my life to look like, that was it. It was wake up, breakfast, coffee, like journal, get inspired, go to yoga, come back and work. And that is exactly what I did. And I had a really productive afternoon. My friends will be pleased to know, because we were speaking about productivity this week. But like, you can choose freedom in the little things. And when you start choosing freedom in the little things, the big things will follow. So you might get a new job opportunity comes up, and if it's if it gives you a light fuzzy feeling, then it's probably the right decision to make. If it makes you excited, it's probably the right decision to make. Also, if it makes you a little bit scared, but scared in a good way, scared that if you're, or I'm scared I wouldn't be able to do that job. No, that's a good thing. You need to go and do it. If it really or unless it's or I don't want to do that job, but the money's really good. I don't like that career. The money's really good. I don't want to go there on holiday, but it's really cheap. They're like egoic. That's the ego trying to justify why you should be making this decision that will keep you not free and keep you in the small self. The feelings that make you fuzzy light, they're freedom feelings. Follow those freedom feelings in your everyday. You're gonna end up living a life of freedom. I realized this week, I live a life of freedom. This is what I've always wanted. So, what am I trying to change? Why, the ego's always trying to solve problems. It's always trying to fix stuff. And if we let it, we can get carried away in those egoic patterns and thoughts and the survival instinct and I need to stay here because it keeps me safe. Well, which actually brings me on to why more people don't choose fear. Why more people don't choose fear. That's not what I meant to say. What I meant to say is why more people don't choose freedom. And the answer is fear. It's fear of the unknown. It's that's the ultimate fear. It's why we fear death. We don't know it. It's we fear death. That is, I've said this before, if we pull back all of our fears, I'm afraid of not fitting in. I'm afraid of going to this place. I'm afraid of I can't even think of any fears right now, but our fears ultimately, I'm afraid of going broke, I'm afraid of getting cancer, I'm afraid of being ill, I'm afraid of what will happen if I do this. It all comes back to because we think we might die. We're afraid of death because it's unknown. So we're afraid of the unknown. And with freedom comes a lot of unknown. But we can flip that, With the unknown, it can be adventure. It can be exciting. It can be, when was the last time you took a spontaneous day, didn't know what you were going to do, got on the tube, went into London, just wandered around, went into the first coffee shop that made you go, oh, exciting, and then went and just followed your kind of intuition about where you should go. That's a fun, freedom-filled day, but that's an adventure. Like that's good fun. Or, well, it is for me. It might not be for everybody else, but that's good fun. And where's the fear in that? Actually, what's going to happen to us if we do that? Or I might miss a day of work. Or what's going to happen if you miss a day of work? The world's not going to fall apart. So I think just like, again, really look at your fears and what you're afraid of, and this will help you kind of come to terms with where you can find more freedom in your life. It also means freedom. This is a big one, and I mentioned this earlier, but a big one for me is that freedom actually means you have to take responsibility. You have to take responsibility for your life. You have to take responsibility for your actions. You have to take responsibility for the choices that you make, because there's nobody to blame. If you really embody freedom, if you really embrace and act from a place of freedom, you've got nobody else to blame for when things might go wrong. And again, this is the unknown. I'm not saying things will go wrong, but it's all down to you. Because if you think that I'm going to become self-employed, I'm going to go freelance, I'm going to build this business, it's going to give me freedom. Okay, great. So it is going to give you more freedom than, say, if you were to work for somebody else. And you've like been in the corporate world all your life, and you know, it will give you a certain amount of freedom. But with running a business, with being self-employed, with being freelance, there comes a fucking huge amount of responsibility. That means you then can't blame something on your like employer if something goes wrong. I didn't get paid this month. Damn payroll, they didn't pay me. Whereas, you know, it's like an actual possibility that you might not get paid one month being self-employed. And that's down to you. It's like not down to payroll. So there is a lot of responsibility that comes with choosing freedom, and we're afraid of that because we're afraid of getting things wrong, because when we get things wrong, things might happen that ultimately might mean we might die in the survival instinct like kind of way, not in actuality. It's not really going to happen unless you're doing something very dangerous. It's not actually going to happen. So we have these kind of irrational fears. They're not irrational, they're deeply programmed into us, but we can, like, good news, we can change those programs. We can change them. We can become more aware of them, and just by becoming more aware of them, you start to change them. My advice would be, if you want more freedom in your life, to like look at your day, look at your life. What lights you up? What doesn't light you up? Where can you let go of things that are keeping you small? The second you start to embrace this higher being, this higher self, this higher person that you are, the person that you dream of being, like write down who you dream of being, and that is actually who you are. That is you, okay? So like that person is available to you. Have a look at your life and see where you can choose freedom a little bit more. Maybe you don't like your job, get a new one. Maybe you are in a bit of a financial pickle. Have a think about what the good stuff that you have in your life. Where can you choose freedom in the everyday? If you're unemployed, for example, and your business isn't going, like your business isn't going great. You're looking at how you're going to try and fix this. That's another thing, is when we try and fix stuff, that's all ego. We don't want to fix it. We want to be guided. And when we're guided, we follow our heart, the solutions come. We don't have to search for them. I have a really good example of that. But say you're like trying to fix how you're going to get money, how you're going to get a job, how you're going to bring more business in, you can start to be grateful. You actually have loads of freedom. Like the freedom that you have, a bit of time on your hands to choose how you want to live your life. So if you want to go for a walk, you can. Going for a walk in nature, spending time in nature, you're going to become more connected to yourself, more connected to nature, more connected to something higher that's going to help guide you to a solution. But where do you have freedom in your life is basically what I'm trying to say. You have freedom to eat the foods you want. You have freedom to exercise in the way that you want. And where a lot of these, like where we're kind of kept small, is by believing the stuff we see on social media, by that this certain diet is the only way you're going to lose weight. This certain way of working is the only way you're going to make loads of money. It's all bullshit. It's all just somebody's opinion. And the people who shout the loudest obviously get heard. Is unfortunately sometimes how this works. So I think just try and limit the stuff that the external opinions, the external information, right? Try and limit that. Ask yourself where you've got more freedom in your day, where you can choose freedom. If you don't want to do something, you don't have to do it. If you do want to do something, then go and do it. It's really, really, really as simple as that. I'm just checking my notes. Yeah, and yeah, and giving up the fear means giving up the illusion of the safety and security, that your job has created, that this relationship has created, that, if you want the absolute best relationship you can possibly have, but you're kind of feeling unfulfilled, look at that. Again, with the business, with the job, with friendship circles, with family, you can make your life look how you want. You just have to choose it. I think that's what I'm really trying to say, is you have the life of your dreams at your fingertips. You just have to make the decisions that are gonna guide, take you towards that. No, it won't happen tomorrow, or it might, because we live in a quantum universe and you never know what could happen if you start to open your mind to it. But I would really, really get deep with this and go journal. Journal about where you can find freedom. Meditate on it. What does freedom look like to you? How can you achieve more freedom in your day-to-day? Freedom doesn't just have to come from winning the lottery. Freedom doesn't just have to come from retiring. Freedom doesn't have to come from bagging a rich husband. Freedom comes from you. All of these feelings, they come from you. I did notice at the beginning of the week that I was feeling stuck. I was feeling a bit unhappy, and I was feeling a bit in my small self. And what I failed to notice was that I'm living the life that I wanted to live. So I'm living this life. I live a life of freedom. I live an incredible life. I eat what I want. I, can do what I want. I really do have a wonderful life that I have built, I have created, and it's only getting better. And I can see that. And that is incredible, because I'm like, how can it get better when this is what I designed, years ago? It's getting better than this? Wow. But I was feeling a bit unhappy, and this is when I realized that it actually comes from within me. I generate the feelings of freedom. I generate the feelings of happiness. I generate the feelings of love. And when you can recognize that these feelings are only ever going to come from within you, you will start to embody them, start to feel them, and you'll notice them more. You'll see more opportunity to choose freedom. You'll see more love in your life. You'll see more happiness. And I think that is very, very, very 25-minute long-winded way of saying that it's all within your power. Freedom is within you. You just have to choose it. I'm going to leave it there. If you are struggling with finding your freedom, if you don't even know what your freedom looks like, well, sit and journal it out. I also have a download, the Design Your Legacy worksheet, that you can find in the link below. Download it, fill it in. It will really help you think about the legacy that you want to leave behind in this world. That legacy will then help you unpick the life that you want to be living today. The legacy doesn't have to be to have a blue plaque on a house here, somebody to be remembered. The legacy can just be, I was happy. Oh yes, remember Catherine, she was a happy woman. Like that legacy, that being happy, that will affect so many different people you don't understand. It has a ripple effect. Us raising our vibration, raising our frequency, raising the love, happiness, joy that we feel affects everybody. And isn't that incredible? Okay, right. Lots of love. Download the worksheet. If you want to chat to me one-on-one about freedom, about how you can find your freedom, about how I can help you find your freedom, please contact me. Connect with me on Instagram, something like that. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Lots of love.